Hear your favorite NFL legends sharing their stories and insights every week right here on Thursday Night Tailgate with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lazari. Take it away, guys.
There's no way out.
And now back with us here on Thursday Night Tailgate in his regular weekly time slot is former Patriots Pro Bowl running back Tony Collins. Good evening, Tony. How are you?
Hi, Tony.
Doing fantastic. How you doing, Chris and Bob?
We're great. Thank you, Tony. So, Tony, I want to start our time with you tonight by getting your thoughts on the NFL Combine, which wrapped up a little bit earlier this week. How much stock do you, as a former player, do you put in, and do you think teams put in when they're watching guys out doing these sort of skills tests and they're running the 40 and that sort of thing? But, you know, out there in shorts and T-shirts, how much do you think that should weigh in on a guy's ability to be successful in the NFL?
Well, I mean, you look at the different positions. I could care less about an offensive tackle running a 5'8" or 5'9". I want to know how much power he has to protecting my quarterback. But when you got somebody like Metcalf, I mean, I watched some of the combine, and the guy is an absolute beast. And, you know, he's like 6'4" and 220 and runs a 4.4, I don't know what he ran, 4.3, 4.4 40. That's something that you look at, and I know his stock had to go up a little bit with all that. I mean, he's a great athlete coming out of Ole Miss. I'm pretty sure he probably made about a couple $1 million on the combine. And I think the combine is, especially when you got running backs, you got linebackers that are mobile, you got defensive backs. You know, when you want to know how fast your defensive backs are. You look at Brady. I think Brady ran a 7.5 on his 40. But you know, that's the quarterback. You know, you don't really care about the 40s on quarterback. You care about just throwing. But the combine it's a great way for the players. You know, for the players, man. When I got invited to the combine, I was really excited. I got to my roommate was Howie Long, and you know, and it was pretty cool to be at the to be invited to the combine and test with the guys, because it's like a big interview for the guys, and it's really huge for the guys that do well. And you know, they're working. You know, there's something that you as a player you've been working all your life for, to get a chance to interview for a team and get chosen and get drafted. And also, I think it's huge for the teams. You know, to see where they are and see some of the players that they want to get. And, you know, they take a whole lot of tests that we don't see in the background. You know, they get interviewed and they want to see how the player takes the interview, which is really good as well. So I think it's huge. I think it's great for the team, and it's great for the players.
And Tony, if a young player came to you and as he was preparing to go to the combine and just asked for some advice, what would you tell him?
I mean, you know, the first thing is, you know, work your butt off and get prepared for the combine. The worst thing that you want to do is get to the combine and not be ready, and you know, not perform well. And I think that's one of the biggest things is prepare yourself for the combine. Making sure you do your 40 time well. You catch the ball out of the backfield as a running back. You catch the ball as a receiver. But the other thing is, you know, probably I think the biggest thing and one of the things that my father always taught me was the yes sir, no sir rule, and always saying yes sir and no sir to coaches and to anybody that's older than you are. The level of respect, I think, that's something that, whether you want to believe this or not, to this day, you know, it's really a big deal when you have a young player come in the league and you always hear him say yes sir, no sir, yes sir, no sir. It just shows a level of respect that he has for the person and a level of respect he has for the game. And I think that's a big deal right now. It's always been a big deal for me. And I think that's one of the things that I would definitely talk to the players about is the respect level and respecting what you're doing, respecting, you know, your coaches and respecting the game.
Bob, questions for Tony?
And Tony, more about the combine. You know, we talked about the weightlifting and the sprinting, this and that, and then things come up like the Wonderlic test, Tony. And I read a little bit about it. You know, I think Tom Landry was the first to use it, and a lot of people don't put too much importance into it, Tony. It's pretty much decision making and kind of overall intelligence. Are you a fan of something like that, Tony? And how invasive should these teams get into a guy to actually find out, number one, how smart he is, number two, if he has any off the field difficulties?
Well, I mean, that one other thing, I think it's a good just to see where the guy is at. I think it's more too far as quarterback really grading out well with that one other thing. But, you know, the biggest thing some of these guys get into is their off-field thing. And that's a no-no, man. You, as a rookie coming in, trying to come into the league, the last thing that you want is something that you're doing off the field that's going to distract a team, or that's going to distract a coach, or going to distract your teammates, or going to distract a city that you may get drafted to. So it's one of the things that just cannot happen. You know, it still happens sometimes. You know, kids are tested positive for marijuana and different things like that. You just can't allow that to happen when you're going in for that big interview.
Tony, I think we've discussed this before also about the use of social media among these players, both at the college and the pro level. There are teams out there, and you know, I think New England might be one of them, who kind of wants to limit it and urges that you stay off it. And it seems like a lot of things we've seen with the Steelers get exasperated by social media. Tony, if you were running a team or a high school team at any level, Tony, would you put a limit on it, or just tell these guys, look, use it in the off season. I don't want to see it during the season?
I mean, you know, it's something that when I was coming up, we didn't have to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the biggest thing is, you know, it's hard to tell a guy, you know, stay off of social media. I think the thing you want to do is pretty much educate him with the social media, understanding that, you know, everything that you say or anything that you do is going to be looked at all over the world. And so you just got to be really smart with that. I don't think you should totally tell them to get off social media, but you just got to be smart with it and understanding that, you know, you're not just representing yourself now. You're going to be representing the team. You're going to be representing teammates. You're going to be representing the city. So you got to be real smart with the social media.
Tony, something that's becoming fashionable around college football is skipping bowl games, unless it's you know, a college playoff game, and maybe skipping the combine either altogether or maybe only doing a couple of the drills, quarterbacks not throwing, holding out, waiting for you know, a pro day at their alma mater schools or where they're currently going to school. What's your thought about players sort of holding out or not being a part of bowl games and that sort of thing? Is it smart business for the player to skip those things, or does it really send a bad message to the rest of the team?
Well, I look at it like this. You know, you got some of the players, if it's not a national title game that you're going to be playing in, and you got a chance to be a first-round draft pick, and you're playing in a bowl game. You know, back then when I was playing, you know, the money wasn't as crazy as it is now. But, you know, I really understand what they're doing and understand what they're trying to do as far as, I hate to tell a player, you know, maybe you should sit out because I don't want you to get hurt. And that takes away from the game. It takes away from the teammates. But at the same time, and you got this young man that if he does get hurt, he could lose millions and millions of dollars in one play. And it's a thing where you just got to be smart with it. I would never, I can't never see, if I was playing, to just sit out a game. That would be really hard for me to do. Someone would have to actually tie me down for me to miss a game, even if it was just a bowl game, man. I love playing the sport, and I'm pretty sure the guys love playing the sport, but now it's so much money involved. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars just to sign your name. You know, I remember I got drafted in the second round, and my signing bonus was $60,000. Man, I was the happiest guy in the world. I thought I was the richest guy in the world too, with $60,000. But it's a whole different story now, man. You talk about millions you talk about a second round draft pick today. He may get a signing bonus for $3 million. That could be his signing bonus. So you just got to be really smart with it and understanding that, I can see a player sitting out a bowl game it's not really gonna, do nothing for you or in a national title game. That would be really hard to sit out. But for me, I'm gonna tell you this: if I was playing in the Independence Bowl, I still want to play. It's just hard for me to sit out, man. So that's just my opinion. But I understand what's happening nowadays because it's a big money deal.
Tony, before we let you go, remind our listeners once again about the great things you're doing trying to help guys go to college.
TonyCollinsFoundation.org. Just sending the kids off to college in the upstate New York area. That's planting seeds, having family day for the young kids, and understanding how we got to get them while they're young and teach them the rights and the wrongs, and staying away from the drugs and going out and graduating and going on to college.
Fantastic stuff as always, Tony. Thank you for your time tonight. We look forward to catching up with you again next week. In between now and then, all the best to you and your family, my friend.
Have a great week, Tony.
God bless, guys.
Good night.
See you, Tone. That's the great Tony Collins. We've got our next guest, Dwight Hollier, hanging on the line. Going to get to Dwight on the other side of this real quick station break.